All right, next up on the show is Alexander McGraw, a tax optimization expert with better benefits for Texas. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
So how did you get involved in this type of business?
All right, so funny enough, my story is actually very unique for getting to the insurance. No, I'm just kidding. I used to do life and health. I actually owned my own life and health agency, and I did that for about 2 years. Well, I got blackballed through my agency or through the marketing organization, and I just kind of got pushed out. Long story short, it helped. It was actually a really good story in the end, where I'm at now. But started getting into this. Had a fellow agency owner. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go back into doing business to business. Do you want to come join this?" I said, "Sure. I'll check it out. We'll see." I step into it, and I'm like, "Okay, this is pretty neat." But I needed more education. More like this was super strict on tax stuff and everything like that. And so I started playing around with it, and I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. I started going out there. Obviously, I'm the type of person that's just, keep hammering until it breaks. I ended up getting my, pretty much trial by fire. So went in. It was really hard, of course, doing it cold, basically business to business, so door to door. And it was like, okay, people were like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about taxes. Are you the IRS?
I was actually going to ask you that. So, Alex, I think I said this to you when we first met. Can you tell us what a tax optimization expert is, but explain it to me like I'm 5.
Okay, cool. So I went on ChatGPT. So I went in and I was like, okay, how do I explain what I do so simply? Because first I started off as cash flow consultant, and that was what I was running with, right? But then that was still confusing. And so I do a lot that is not brought to the surface. This has been around since 1972, what I do. The problem is it doesn't get given to small businesses. Mm-hmm. So what I do, if you were 5 years old, me lower payroll taxes.
5, not 3, Alex. I'm in kindergarten.
Okay. I lower payroll taxes and I increase employee benefits spending at no direct cost for companies. That's what I do.
Okay.
It's very proprietary. It's very unique. There's some people that have the first part of it. Some people do the second part of it. And some people do the third part of it. I do all 3 at one time. That's what I do. And how I got into it, I got invited, checking this out, and then I actually fell in love with it. It's really cool. I get to be able to help business owners, and their employees by not being able to, and also not being able to charge them too, which is super unique on itself. We charge them, but there's no direct cost. So we take out our money from the savings.
Yeah, no out of pocket. So you are closing 2 sales. Can you, in general terms, because we don't want to share personal information or anything, but what are some of the examples of benefits those companies are getting that you're closing on?
Yeah, so on the basics of it is we actually go in, we implement my company, the brokerage of that we use is called Safe Harbor, and we end up using a wellness plan. So we actually use insurance write-off to get the company more insurance for their employees. So we end up being able to go in there. We end up giving them basically a free product, and what it does is it allows the actual employee to receive a lower taxes on their check as well. So we fall under Section 125, and what that does is it lowers their actual payroll tax and the employee check, and we end up being able to use that savings to put it back into, we end up being able to get them supplemental accidental, supplemental disability, supplemental cancer plan, hospital indemnity, and also be able to give them something that helps them with the retirement too. So we end up being able to get them an IUL, something that's going to be able to plan for college, even if their own personal life insurance. And the crazy part is there's no direct cost to the employee or the employer. So it's almost like I'm making magic out of taxes, and I'm being able to give these businesses something very beautiful that helps them.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Have you guys ever gone to McDonald's and ordered like a cheeseburger, a small Coke, and a small fry, and it's one price? But if you ordered the $3 bundle, it's cheaper, but they're not going to tell you that it's cheaper unless you tell them you want the bundle. It's like the IRS is McDonald's. You can get, like, you're going to pay for all this stuff, but if you just order it this way, you save money, but people don't even know about it.
And I'm the hamburgler, like giving out the free
Yeah,
hamburgers.
you're the guy at the check who's like, order the
I
bundle.
can see that.
yeah.
I can totally see that.
Order the bundle. It'll help you out with it.
So essentially, again, I love to call myself Robin Hood, just because I'm able to take back from the government and give back to the businesses and their employees.
What's an example of a business, maybe like not specifically, but like a situation where an owner maybe was like, I don't really quite understand what you're talking about, and you're like, well, this is what it is, and then he saved money or she saved money on their business and improved benefits. Give me an example.
Sure, yeah, and it's funny because I used to go in there and I'm used to be like, hey, I'm going to be able to go under section this, and people were confused, right? And I actually, it's funny because thankfully to y'all guys, I ended up being able to get that a little bit more simple, more. I broke it down a little bit more easier, and so for me going in. Right. Again, before I used to go into just tax savings, but now I go in and I'm like, hey, we're going to lower 941 payroll taxes that you pay quarterly and improve your employee benefit spending by about $150 per employee. So, for example, we had one. They had, and this only works for W-2 employees. Yeah. So if you have W-2 employees, that's what we can be able to get the write-off on because they're paying taxes. But to go into that story, they had 20 employees. They're all W-2. We go in. You have to make a certain range of money. So we end up being able to see if you guys qualify or if the employees qualify. We go in. We ended up going in and we got a census. So just like how a health insurance agent works, a 401k rep, they need a census. I need a census. We end up going in, seeing, okay, all right, these employees qualify. These employees don't. And if they end up going into the wellness program, we actually are able to get about $500 lowered on the 941 payroll tax per employee every single year. So they had 12 employees. I think maybe like 8 qualified or something like that. So we're able to save them about $4,000 per year on their payroll taxes.
Nice.
Every single year. Yeah. It's lovely.
Yeah. What could you do with $4,000?
Advertising. That's an extra piece of equipment. You know what I mean? And the upside to that, too, is now not only are you able to retain more employees, but you're also able to attract more employees.
Better benefits.
Because you have better benefits. And so now you have, and just kind of go a little bit more into detail, now you have a employee that's able to have unlimited doctor visits over the phone, unlimited mental health visits over the phone, RX discounts, supplemental disability, supplemental accidental, supplemental cancer plan. And the neat thing is, and also a retirement plan. And so the neat thing is for our supplemental benefits, we end up being able to have it on and off the job. So even if they're at home and something happens and they go disabled, they'll still pay out a disability claim. So that's just like the nice little things. We'll go more into detail if you book with me. But, hey, again, it's just being able to help your business, your employees, and be able to help you guys grow. And the neat thing is we end up just seeing if you qualify at no direct cost, so which is even better than that. And
real quick, you mentioned something. You said, thanks to you guys, I've made it more simple. What did Marc do for you that helped you with that realization?
Marc, he ended up, he basically broke it down a little bit more structure of like, hey, you know what? How are you getting businesses to come to you? And so I had to really sit down and think about that. That was like a really a big one that he ended up kind of like, it was like a light bulb. I'm like, okay, how am I actually doing that? So that actually, I wrote down and I sat down and I was like, okay, how do I, end up being able to bring more employees or businesses to me? The other thing too was, so I got that down and I'm still strategizing that. But also the other thing too is like, how can you make it more simple? How can you make it more simple what you're doing. Because I think I've sat down with all of y'all, which is funny. And it's like, your guys are looking at me like, I don't know exactly what you do. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how to make it more simple. And it's funny because I met y'all guys and it was like, I was like, I do cash flow, consulting, and, I help them with their cash flow. And it's like, that is not what the sell is that we're trying to be able to push out there. So, and for you, Heather, it was funny because, yeah, we're going to put you on that pedestal for a little bit. All right. You ended up actually helping me break down and going more into depth about it is what is their pain point? What exactly is their pain point? So it's like, are they trying to hire more people? Are they trying to keep more people on board? Are they trying to be able to grow their money? And so like I remember, and I wrote that down and I was like, okay, that's really solid. That's like really solid. So thank you for the coaching. Yeah. there it is, guys. Hey,
that clarity is super important. And it has to come, I think, mostly from an outside source, not in your circle, but outside that, because that way you'll listen and be challenged a bit. But we got to wrap it up on that. We're out of time. Alex, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Sure. I say I have a LinkedIn, so it's under Alex McGaw. And then also if you guys want to text me, that's like the best way, just so you guys let me know who you are. My number is 210-430-9339. Please text me. That's like the best way. And that's how you reach me.